Hello friends, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365, and in this video I will be going over the top 10 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs of 2024 so far. I can't believe it, we are 6 months into the year already. Time just flies by when you're having fun, I suppose. But there have been some incredible 4K releases, both in new theatrical as well as catalog. And in this video, I'm going to go over 10 that I feel are the best of the year so far. Now, normally at the end of the year, I do a separate video of those top 10 best new theatrical, as well as top 10 best catalog. So for the mid-year video, I'm just going to condense things. I'm just going to do a little bit of a mixture of both. It's not going to be representative of what we could see necessarily at the end of the year, but there are really some strong contenders. And also, of course, as always, this has nothing to do with the quality of the film itself. This is purely based off of the picture and audio, and to an extent, the extras, which I have now started including in my reviews. And as always, I encourage you to put in the comment section below what your personal top 10 4K releases of the year are so far. All right, so for my number 10, I thought I would go with one of the best boutique labels out there, Arrow Video, one of their early 2024 releases, and in my opinion, a stellar 4K. I'm talking about Conan the Barbarian. I mean, really, you could say Arrow Video is one of the best out there, and the transfer is nearly perfect. It looks very filmic, a nice respectful HDR and Dolby Vision pass, looks excellent. The audio upgraded to Dolby Atmos. While it doesn't measure up to obviously what we would get in today's audio mixes, it does have some appreciable audio cues that really make good use of the soundstage. I really enjoyed both the visual and audio aspects of this release, and the extras I feel were really spot on. There was some good content here. Arrow Video, in my opinion, knocked this one out of the park. It is absolutely an early contender for the best of the year. So yes, Conan the Barbarian on 4K from Arrow is my number 10. Every once in a while, as I do here on the channel, I invest in a blind buy to review the 4K. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. In this case, it didn't. I didn't really particularly care for the movie, but I did find that the 4K itself was really spot on. It was an excellent 4K. This one is Warner Brothers' Wonka. As I said, didn't care for the movie, but you get an excellent visual and audio experience. This movie was made for HDR. It really has a nice visual pop, excellent clean picture. It looks beautiful, razor sharp at times, and the Dolby Atmos is fun. This is a musical mixed with some fantasy elements, and it really utilizes the soundstage effectively. And also Warner Brothers is one of the, I would say, better studios, major studios at least these days, putting out extra content. And the extras on this one are really good. Of course, we wish there was a little bit more length to some of the content here, or abundance, but at this point you'll take what you can get. But if you liked the film Wonka, pick up the 4K. It is a nice presentation, so it is my number 9 pick. When you hear Paramount and 4K, a couple of emotions come to light, maybe fears of dread or hesitation. But I will say, their catalog title controversies aside, their new theatrical stuff on the 4K format is usually top tier. So for my number 8, I went with Bob Marley, One Love. This movie is gorgeous. Full use of HDR and Dolby Vision here. It's a beautiful, razor sharp looking picture. Excellent all around there. When it comes to the audio, of course, Bob Marley's music is going to be front and center, and it really effectively uses your entire Atmos setup. It's well done. Yes, it's not an action film by any means, but it's still an enjoyable music experience, and there's a lot to just dig here as far as picture and audio goes. The extras are okay. I mean, they're not too abundant, but there is some good stuff. I would have liked a little bit more meat in that area, but really well-rounded packaging from start to finish. Bob Marley, One Love from Paramount is worth picking up. Sony is one of the major studios out there that puts usually the best 4K content. I would stack up a lot of their titles with any of the other majors. And I really think that it falls into all aspects, whether it's classic cinema, modern action films, or even, in this case, animation. Paprika on 4K. This is great. This is a beautifully animated film, and it does a great job on 4K. Awesome looking colors. This looks beautiful. The transfer itself is nearly flawless. And moving over to the Atmos, one of my biggest complaints about animated films is that they somehow dumb down the audio experience, but not Sony, not Paprika. The Atmos on this one is top notch. It is great. It sounds like a live action movie. And really, this is a awesome 4K presentation. The extras are okay. They're not, I would say that's probably where Sony usually lacks a little bit in most of their releases, but there is some good content here. If you are a fan of the film, there's some classic archival stuff to enjoy, but Paprika on 4K, I highly recommend the movie itself, but the 4K even more so. My number 6 pick is another Sony release and also one of the earliest of 2024 that came out, The Raid Redemption. Wow. First off, this is not a quote-unquote beautiful looking movie to begin with, but I do feel the transfer is best here on the 4K. It looks great. I believe they did some adjustments to the color timing. It looks a little bit more natural, but really you're getting the best visual presentation. The movie looks excellent, but really the Dolby Atmos is why you came to the party for this one, because wow, every punch, hit, gunshot, everything really sounds great with the Indonesian Dolby Atmos track. It is a well-rounded audio experience. I still go back to this one a lot. I went back at least 2 more times since the initial review. Awesome 4K. Once again, the extras, not really too much there, but really you came for the picture and the audio, and both are done very, very well. So yes, Sony's The Raid Redemption on 4K is my number 6. Sitting at the number 5 position is another Warner Brothers release, and I was very pleasantly surprised with how well this 4K turned out. Clint Eastwood's film American Sniper. This one came out both as a slipcover and a steelbook. I honestly was very happy with how the transfer looked on this one. It looks beautiful, very clean. It's got that gritty war look to it, but at times it also has a nice pleasing visual aesthetic. And it comes across well on 4K with HDR. And the Dolby Atmos, I was not expecting this one as well because it kind of hits pretty hard. I really enjoyed it quite a bit. Yes, it's the same Dolby Atmos ported over from the old Blu-ray, but here on 4K, I'm so glad they just kind of kept with it, didn't really tinker with it. It sounds excellent. And once again, extras, not a whole lot here, but still really the movie itself on 4K, the best possible version you can get right now. So American Sniper, my number 5 pick. My number 4 pick is probably the most recent release on this particular list, but it deserves to be in here. Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire on 4K is well worth the pickup if you are a fan of the MonsterVerse films. I loved this 4K release. This looks great. Visually beautiful, colors pop out with intensity. Great HDR and Dolby Vision pass on this one. I think it's a nice visual experience. And the Dolby Atmos is also pretty aggressive. It's really good. It's not quite up to Godzilla versus Kong. I felt the presence was a little bit more in your face and robust, but I still gave it an A+ in my review because it's very dynamic, entertaining, and it's certainly going to give your home theater a workout. And the extras are also good here. They're not great, but there is some interesting stuff. Once again, Warner Brothers, I feel, does some of the best extras, at least as far as new films these days. But it's a well-rounded 4K disc. If you're a fan of the film, get the 4K. It is absolutely worth the pickup. It seems like a lifetime ago that we have been wanting this on 4K or Blu-ray even, but I was very happy with the results. James Cameron's The Abyss is my number 3 pick, and it is probably one of the best well-rounded 4Ks of 2024. Visually, I love this. This is a beautiful looking picture. You get both the theatrical and the extended version. They both look great. No complaints, at least far as I'm concerned here. Wonderful looking picture. And also the audio, the Dolby Atmos upgrade. This one brings the pain at times. It's really aggressive. It has some great audio cues. Very fun, energetic. I love what they did here with the audio. And the extras probably on this list are some of the best. Really, they ported over, I would say 90%, 95% of the old extras from previous releases. And then, of course, they added some new stuff. I think really, if you're a picture person or an audiophile or somebody who loves extras, there's something for everybody in this release. So yes, James Cameron's The Abyss on 4K, my number 3. Honestly, one can make a really strong case for my number 1 and my number 2 being switched. They're almost interchangeable. But for my number 2 pick, Guillermo del Toro's Crimson Peak, once again, an Arrow video release, is a top-tier 4K presentation. Not only awesome looking picture, razor sharp, beautiful palettes, but the audio, the DTSX, once again, which has been on a previous Blu-ray, sounds awesome. There's some great dynamic audio cues here. It's really just a great experience. The extras, oh, I loved the extras on this one. They were so in-depth, awesome stuff. But where I would just argue with the rest of the titles on this list, the actual packaging from Arrow Video, the limited edition case, chef's kiss, beautiful. Wow, I mean, honestly, I could go on and on about Crimson Peak. This 4K is a must-own. Whether if you're somebody who enjoys a good haunted story or Guillermo del Toro films or just a very entertaining movie, Crimson Peak on 4K is the way to go, and it is my number 2. And for my number 1 best 4K release of 2024 so far, I think we all know what it is. Warner Brothers 4K of Dune Part 2. I can go on and on about this film. I loved it. Just as equally impressive is the 4K from the first movie. This one delivers on all fronts. It's an entertaining film that really gives you a gorgeous visual experience. Awesome Dolby Atmos. I mean, room shaking, neighbors calling the cops on you kind of thing. Just a beautiful track. Love it. Love this one. I always have to turn it down. The wife's going to complain whenever I crank it up, but you know, I think audibly this is an excellent Dolby Atmos. It is the most aggressive one on this list. The extras are also really good. They're not great. They're not quite up to the level of The Abyss or Crimson Peak, but it's still Warner Brothers putting out some solid extra content. And for me personally, I went with the Steelbook packaging. Love it all around. Dune Part 2. Great picture, HDR Dolby Vision, top tier, audio, just as much so. This is awesome. So yes, Dune Part 2 is my number 1 pick of the best of 2024 so far. So those are my top 10 4K releases of 2024 so far. I want to hear from you in the comment section below. What are your personal top 10s of the year? And also, if you're interested in picking up any of the titles I did talk about in this video, I will put direct Amazon links in the comment section. If you use them, they really help out the channel. And honestly, I'm very excited to see what the back half of 2024 is going to bring us. A lot of these that I talk about on this list are going to absolutely make the end of the year videos, but this has been a good year for 4K, so I'm excited to see what comes next. In the meantime, please like, subscribe, hit that bell notification. So until next time, this is Adam with Movie Guy 365. I will see you at the movies.